Guys, welcome to another edition of the Keep It Locked podcast with another interesting guest. She's a very interesting person.
I was the only Emirati in there. One day you're going to switch on the TV and you're going to see me, you know.
What were you doing? Music video, drama?
Yes, it was music videos as well.
Your mama was enjoying the Rotana music.
I went through that bankruptcy and my grandmother came back and told me that I'm not going to be able to pay off your school fees. My children have still not yet had the citizenship. My mom will tell you, I'm so proud of my daughter.
Very good English question. You should be saying, wow, that was a great. I'm just going to note down, I need a ticket for the pageant. I need a ticket for the behind the curtains. Hey guys, and welcome to another edition of the Keep It Locked podcast. Once again in the studio in Dubai, the UAE, and that's fitting for today's guest because I have, for the very first time, an Emirati, guest, friend, colleague, and celebrity soon to be for sure. She goes by the name of Fatima Bahman, and she is going to tell you all about herself, but I'm super stoked because she's got a very, very interesting story. So Fatima, welcome to Keep It Locked.
Thank you for having me, Omar.
Absolutely. And I'm super gassed and super nervous for this one. And I don't usually get nervous on the podcast because I've normally had a really good rapport or long history or understanding of the people who are joining me in the studio. Mm-hmm. You've become a very good friend in the recent months and I've learned so much about you. And you're the first, when I think about it, you're the first Emirati person that I've brought into the studio, which is a blessing for me because I've learned so much about a country and a region and the people. Mm-hmm. I've lived here for 6 years, but you've already taught me so much that I didn't know. I'm hoping that we're going to pull out similar learnings, influence and advice, hopefully, for those who may be watching or listening. And if you are, don't forget to subscribe, like and follow on your favorite platform. Links will be in the description, not just for the Keep It Locked podcast, but for my very wonderful guest, Fatima, as well. This is Keep It Locked, guys. Media, entertainment, lifestyle, showbiz, whatever you want. She's got it all, I'm sure. Okay, so Fatima, we're here to have a really interesting conversation and hopefully learn more about you. Yes. For those who don't know who you are, just give a brief summary on who is Fatima Bahman.
Okay, so before we start, I would like to say thank you for having me here today. It's a great honor for me to be here. And the reason why I wanted to be in this podcast as well with you was because I have been trying to challenge and I have been struggling to get into platforms where I could be the voice for others. So
is this your first podcast?
This is actually my first podcast.
Alhamdulillah.
Yes. So
exclusive.
You can see.
Exclusive.
Very exclusive.
Wow. No, I'm blessed. I'm honored. Thank you so much.
Actually, you can't really say it's my first podcast. I tried to have one podcast before.
Okay.
But it never really went live because I was going to be initiating that podcast. This was about 2 to 3 years ago. And we did a few catch-ups with some interesting people, but I didn't really put it out there. So it didn't really happen. But I still had the videos, but never went on to put them up. But I enjoyed doing it. And for me, I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Fatima Bahman. I come from the Persian side, which is my dad, and my mom, who's an Emirati. I was born here. I was raised here. And I have been a banker as a profession, and I'm a mother. And apart from that, I'm also in the beauty pageants. I'm actually the first Emirati in 2024 to be in Miss Universe top finalist, and I had won the Voice for Change, which again, it all gets related to the woman empowerment.
So you're a model as well, basically, yeah? Is there a difference, model, beauty pageant,
There is a difference. There is a difference because for me, models, when we say models, when I was younger, I was about 16, I used to model, but not a catwalk model.
Okay.
So I was basically a photo shoot model and a TV. So I was in TV. So I would do advertisements and I would be with the celebrities in terms of their ads or in terms of any photo shoots that used to happen. So I used to do that.
Just in the region or elsewhere?
Just in the region,
okay.
Just in the UAE. And I was pretty young. I was I think 17 years old.
Oh, wow.
When
Okay.
I did that.
Still in
And
school?
Yes, I was still in school, and I always had the passion to actually be, like a model, because I remember once I did go for modeling, a catwalk, and because of my height, I was actually rejected. And I would never forget that day. When I entered and I had to do the audition, the person actually looked at me and told me, honey, you're too short to be a catwalk model.
I haven't
But
checked.
I'm
Like
a
when
fighter.
you walk, when you walked in, I didn't see how tall you were, but you didn't look short.
No,
to,
I am. I am comparing to the models. Yes, I am a
So
bit
what
short.
what
Not
was
a
the
bit
entry
more.
point in terms of height, in your opinion?
Well, in terms of height, at least I'm not sure exactly how the category works with the model industry in terms of the catwalk, but for me, there was a big difference. Like there is a big difference in terms of the height, and I wasn't capable or I wasn't approved to be a catwalk model at that time. And today, it's me being in beauty pageant. It has nothing to do with the height as well. So, in my opinion, in beauty pageant, you have to actually be the voice for others, okay? And you have to present yourself as a woman that is able to take the any woman that you feel like that they don't feel like they're empowered. You take that initiative to supporting them by empowering those women. And for me, if I want to go way back about how I started off my career, it was a very challenging years that I had to go through, because for me to get where I am and being in my late 30s and being a mother was very difficult.
So you're a mother in your late 30s, but you're still about to embark on a journey
Yes.
in the Miss Universe world?
Well, let's go way back. Yeah. When I started my career, I had to stop at the age of 19 because I got married at that time.
Okay.
The reason being was why I made that choice. When I was 16, 17, I was in front of the cameras. And I remember, because being an Emirati at that time, it was very challenging, and it was kind of like a disgrace if a girl tries to represent herself in front of the TV. And it was more like the culture issue, not the government or not the country issue, but it was more of the culture issues, because our heritage goes back and our values. So for us, it was like something that my mom, when she saw me in front of the TV once, I remember I was out with my friends, and I was doing that, but I never told my family that I was doing this. I never told them that, I'm actually in front of the TV, and one day you're going to switch on the TV and you're going to see me,
What are the chances though, man? So what were you doing? What were you doing? Music video, drama?
Yes, it was music videos as well.
Well, your mama was enjoying the Rotana
I'm probably
music or
still
whatever.
on YouTube, my
YouTube,
back.
Rotana music,
Yes.
whatever, yeah. Okay, so your mom saw you on TV.
So my mom actually saw me on TV, and
Wow.
I was in a video clip as one of the main models for a celebrity, an Arabic celebrity. And I remember I was out with my friends, and my mom called me up, and I picked up that phone, and I wish I didn't. And she started yelling at me. And she was like, I just saw you on TV. And the thing is, she's not the one who saw it first. It was actually someone from the relative called her up and told her that we saw Fatima on TV. Switch on Rotana right now. So my mom, she switched that on. She called me and she was like, I don't like you doing this, and you need to stop. This is actually not okay. No one's going to marry you tomorrow. So there was a lot of issues when that happened. And because I realized that I upset my mom, so I decided, okay, fine, I'm not going to do this again. And I left it, but it was always my passion. It was always my dream. I actually wanted to continue what I really wanted to do, because I knew that I was good at that. So my mom stopped me from doing all that. I decided to work, and I was 18 years old, and I took my first banking job. And
You left school?
I didn't leave school. I was still studying, and I was struggling as well as a teen. When I was about 16, we went bankrupt. And
Wow.
yeah, we had a very massive bankruptcy in the family. And I had to actually work to pay off my school because I used to love studying. I just used to love studying. And my grandmother told me that we're not going to be able to pay for your school. And because I was always in private schools and I wasn't like, there was a chance for me to go for government school. But the thing was, but because my Arabic was very weak and I was already in grade 11. So even if I would have gone to Arabic school or a government school, I wouldn't have made it.
Do Emiratis have to, obviously in this region, there's no free schooling for expats, for example. We pay fees for children.
Yep.
Do Emiratis get special privileges, or like, so if you were going to a private school, you were paying X amount. Was it free for you to go to government school as an Emirati?
For Emiratis, it's free.
Okay.
For Emiratis and children of Emiratis, it's free for us to go to the government school.
So that would make sense for anyone from outside of the UAE that say, you know, okay, fine, I'm from the UK.
Yeah.
It's we pay taxes in that country, but we go to public school for free.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, it's unheard of, or it's not really like common knowledge that an Emirati family could face bankruptcy, because you know what the perception is of people viewing from outside of the region. The Emiratis are lit, you know, they've got the nice houses, the flashy cars, I didn't check what handbag you brought in, but they've got the nice.
Oh, it's different. Don't compare me now.
Yeah, no. So that's actually a thing, that Emiratis, you know, they're not born with like the silver spoon in the family.
No, see, there's a difference. My mom, she is the one who's the Emirati one, and my mom was actually I was living with my father and my grandparents, and they're the Persian side. So my dad never had the citizen, like he wasn't a citizen of. He was a citizen of the Emirates, but he never had the passport.
Yeah.
So I was basically raised with the Persian side of my family, which was my dad's side of my grandparents. My grandfather, he's the one who went through bankruptcy. My mom, on the other side, was actually married, and she was living her life. So it was quite different, and I wasn't raised by her at that time. I moved to my mom when I was a teen, actually.
So at that time, your mom and dad weren't together?
No, they weren't together. They
Okay.
were separated way before that. I was very young when they were separated. So I was actually raised, so the Persian side of the family was completely different. So they were the normal citizens who were here and working, and they went through the bankruptcy. And my mom being a woman who was uneducated as well. So she wasn't working, and she was already married. So her life was different. So I couldn't really expect, or my father's side couldn't expect much from my mom's side support. So what happened was that when we went through that bankruptcy, and my grandmother came back and told me that I'm not going to be able to pay off your school fees. So what I did was, I remember I actually had to get a job as a part-time while I was studying in the morning at school. I used to work for a company with Samsung at that time.
Okay.
And I used to start my job from 6 to 10. And then I used to come back at 10 at night just to go home to start studying for school for next day, doing my homeworks and doing my exams or whatever that, you know, I had to do for school. Mm-hmm. So it was quite tough for me. I had a very, very tough journey. That's why I am a person who is, I call myself, like not just me, I have a lot of my friends, they always name me by one name, a Wonder Woman. That's the name that my friends, they always give me. They always tell me, you are a Wonder Woman, because I did that just to pay off for my school. And by the time I was 19, I decided, because the fashion stopped for me. So I'm a person that never gives up. So I decided, okay, you know, what am I going to do next? An opportunity of marriage came by for me. And the person who I got married to, who's my ex-husband, he was not an Emirati as well.
Okay.
So when I got married to him, I was very young. I was 19.
Was it like an escape route for you, or did you see it as a... to get married at 19?
Thinking that if I get married, I would be able to get back into the fashion industry.
Because you wouldn't be under the guardianship, and it would have changed. Okay.
Yes, because my mom's excuse at that time was like, if you're going to be doing this, like no one's going to marry you.
Okay.
So it was like a shame thing for us. So when I got married, and I said, okay, you know, now my ex-husband would approve it. He's the one who's going to allow me to do it, you know. So when I decided to get married, and I did that, I didn't think that, okay, I'm going to be a mom and I need to start taking care of my children, or I'm going to be a wife, I need to start taking care of the household, or that I will be married to someone who actually is not even strong enough to financially support us. So again, I had to take over the male dominant in the house. I had to be the person who would bring bread to the table. So my life changed. The twist in my life, the passion that I had, which was with fashion industry, it just went down. So my responsibilities at that time, at that age, being a 19-year-old girl, having my daughter at 20, 21, and being the bread holder of the house, and then at the same time doing my master's when I was 23 with 2 children, and as well working in the bank, as well being a wife, was very tough. And I always had this thing in my mind that I still want to pursue my passion. I still wanted to do it, but I was never able to because I had so many responsibilities. It was just so tough on me. Sometimes I remember I would be in loans all the time. Like for as long as I remember, I would always get loans because I had to pay all the fees at home. School started with my kids, and my ex-husband wanted something, for me to support him financially. If he wanted to start something, which he was never able to achieve most of the time, he would
like
always
businesses
fail.
and stuff,
Yeah, he would always fail, and again, everything would come back to me, or providing for anything. All the expenses in the house was always on me. So my dreams shattered, and I was never able to pursue with my passion. Until they always say, when you have patience in life and never give up, it's always going to happen. So I remember when I was already in my 30s and I had my 3rd baby. And that's when I went through my divorce with my ex-husband. I had my baby girl, and I decided a year after that I want to start becoming an influencer because the market was booming at that time. So I told myself I want to start becoming an influencer. I want to find a platform in life where I can speak up, where I can show the world that no matter at what stage you are, being a mother, being in your late 30s, being any size or any color, it doesn't matter. If you have a dream, you can do it. No matter the circumstances, you can always achieve.
Do you think it's really hard hitting to hear the story of your age at the time, marriage, 3 children, financial responsibility, as well as, I know what a mother's responsibility is and how tiring it can be as well. So there wouldn't have been any hours or minutes left in the day for you to pursue your passion, even if you were culturally or allowed or it was accepted in the household. Do you think there's other... and again, just to hear this from an Emirati is quite, I don't know what the right word is. Shocking is not the right word, but almost shocking, right? It's because it's unheard of. But do you think, or do you know of other girls who were in similar situations to you where they were stuck in a position of, responsibility in a household, and they couldn't pursue their passion? May have been something else, could have been video gaming or something like that. But there are many girls like yourself, many women like yourself, girls at obviously the age that you were when you got married.
Yeah.
There must be. You're not the only one, right? There must be others that you've come across in your time.
There is definitely others out there. I won't be able to speak up for them because every person has their own challenges in life that they're facing. But again, it's not something that is negative because, again, with us, we do have the support, like how we said earlier, in terms of the public schools and in terms of the government schools, which our children do have the beneficial to attend those government school, being an Emirati. And apart from that, financially, also, our leaders, I call them my fathers.
Let's talk about that for a second then. So the UAE, we all know the pictures, the faces of the sheikhs, we see them all over social media. We know that it's not... a region where democracy rules. It's still like a royal family governing and ruling the land. We all know that Emiratis are privileged in some way, but I think there's got to be a real misconception because people must think that the Emiratis are just given a house and a car and a bank account with everything from birth. Look, some of it must be true. I've lived here for 6 years. I've heard A, B, C, D, E. just tell us some examples of the privileges that you get, because I'd like to think that you'd be able to bring some real context to them to sort of simmer down. People might think that your privileges are up here, but I'm hoping that what you tell me will realign any misconceptions of mine and others. Tell me some privileges that are typical for an Emirati to get just for being an Emirati.
Look, we do have the privileges. I'm not going to say we don't. For me, I look at it like you said earlier, the house. Okay, yes, our government, they do support us by giving us a land and a house. They do support us, especially for someone like me, who is a mother of 3, and I'm not even married. Even if I was married, and I have, like, my situation was different because my ex-husband was an expat. My ex-husband was an Emirati. In usual cases, if your husband is an Emirati, he will get the land, he will get the house, and he will have his family in there. As for me, I was not married to an Emirati, so I had an expat husband. So for me also, my government has supported me, and they have given me a land, which I'm building at the moment. So they have given me a land, they have provided me a few funds, which we can say, to startups, because it's like your father, okay? I call our leaders my father. Okay, so it's exactly like the way your father would do it. How would your father would do it? He would always try to push you, okay, to be something in life. He will teach you how to cross path away in your life. So it's the same thing for us. They will actually support us by saying, okay, we are supporting you. So they'll push us in front and say, this is the rest, you will have to do it. So it's not always where they say like, oh, we'll pick up the spoon and feed you with the spoon. So you would eventually have to pick up that spoon and feed yourself as well.
I like the analogy of father, because so they're just like saying, here, child,
Yes.
here's a little helping start, but you've got to figure out how to swim on your own.
Yes.
Okay, so just like, I'll tell you straight, on that topic, my understanding up until today was that only the Emirati boys at birth get given land for their future house. But you're telling me that it's just Emiratis in general would be given a plot of land, and what you choose to do with that and how you fund it and how extravagant or humble you are with it, that's down to the individual.
Yeah, so there's a specific amount, and then they tell you, okay, this is the amount that we're going to give you.
Yeah.
Okay, now whether you want to stick to that particular amount or you want to extend it yourself and do it further. So it's like me coming and giving you 100 dirhams and telling you, how are you going to work with that 100 dirham?
Yeah.
Are you going to be putting extra onto that because you want something customized better, or are you just going to be sticking to that 100 dirhams that you're going to work with? So that's how it is. So some people might just accept work with that 100 because it's their own choice. And some people, no, they would add something to that and they would work. I mean, this is in my case. So in my case, this is how it is. And being an Emirati mom, like I said, whether I'm married or I'm not married, is an expat situation. Because I have 3 kids, I am entitled to get that privilege from my father.
What do your kids get then?
Well,
Examples. I don't want you to list all your benefits, but like, it's really interesting because people, they have to know. They can't just be looking at Instagram, social media, TikTok. I just feel it so much.
My children have still not yet had the citizenship. My daughter, she's almost 17. And now with the new rule, they said that by the time they're 18, they will get the citizenship.
Citizenship means passport.
Means the passport,
right.
Yes. My kids, they still don't have that. So they're still under their father. Where with my case, it was different when I was young. I had it since I was very, very, very young from my mom's side. So my situation was totally different. But with my kids, I say, inshallah, like they will get it by the time my daughter hits 18. She's 17 now, the eldest one. So by the time she hits 18, inshallah, like she is going to be as well having the passport, which they say in Arabic, ana bartah, once my daughter is, Emirati, by passport holder. And inshallah, ya Rab, I'm waiting for that day to come for her. But alhamdulillah, being an Emirati mom, the advantage is that my kids get it. It doesn't make any difference. they actually will have all the privileges as an Emirati, even when it comes with the public school, the government school, even when it comes with the government hospitals. My kids are entitled for the same thing as an Emirati right now.
But I'm assuming that you've still instilled all the values that are exhibited by you, in the sense that you probably want them to be as hardworking.
Yes.
I guess chase their dreams.
Yes. I am actually a mother. In the beginning of my life, when they were very young, I would always tell this to them. I raised them at first like a cotton.
Like a cotton?
Like a cotton.
Explain.
So basically soft.
Okay.
So I was very soft on my kids in the beginning. And I realized that I went through a lot in life. And today, if I'm standing here and I'm still challenging and I'm still chasing my dreams and I'm still doing what I love to do, which we're going to get there, and what I have achieved in life, I realized that I was being too soft on my kids.
Oh.
And I called them. I tell them that. I'm like, I was dealing with you girls like a cotton, which is very soft. So I decided that I'm going to put an end to that. Why? Because I realized that my kids were being spoiled and not appreciative enough with the things that was around them. And their expectations reached to a maximum spot in their life where they thought they can have whatever they want easily and never appreciate the small things that they had. I realized that I was treating my children like a cotton.
Soft.
So when I realized that my kids were not being appreciated for the things that they had, and they thought that their expectation was like, I can have whatever I want.
Give me a G63 for my 16th birthday, yeah?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
and that's
really.
exactly what my daughter was expecting.
Mama, G63, white on black.
She's
red
already
interior.
asking for my G63. So when I realized that she was getting too soft, not just my 17-year-old, but all of them, when I realized that they were getting too soft, I actually put an end to that. And I realized, and I looked back to myself, and I was like, how did I get where I am today? How did I appreciate everything that was happening in my life and still working hard to achieve my dreams? So that's when I stopped feeding my kids with a spoon. And I started teaching them that they need to start being independent. And it happened with the smallest things. I told them, you guys need to start doing chores. Cleaning up your place. My daughter was literally 15 years old at that time. And I remember she would be holding the plate like this. Yeah, this was how she would hold the plate.
After finishing a meal?
After finishing a meal. And I would tell her, okay, why would you be holding? She's like, it's too dirty. I don't want to clean that.
Oh, dear.
So at 15, I was working.
Yeah.
I was working at Dubai Shopping Festival as a sales, child that was selling off, some brand candies just to make a pocket money. I was the child that at 15, I was entering the kitchen and cooking meals for my dad and my grandfather. And the first meal I made was, rice and chicken. But my daughter...
Iranian, yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, Persian.
Nice.
My daughter was basically holding that plate like this, and she was like, okay, I'm not going to do that. And I told her, no, you're going to be cleaning that plate. So I started with the simplest thing. And then I started making them they wanted to go out. I stopped dropping them. And I started teaching my daughter that you need to start taking the cab. Even though my mom used to go ballistic at times. I mean, you're sending your 15-year-old daughter with the cab. But I was like, Mom, she needs to learn.
And I mean, in this region,
And
she's safe.
she's safe. Because first of all, because my mom doesn't know, right? But we know that there's an application and you can see that your child is safe.
Yeah.
But for my mom, it was like, no, it's dangerous. Because in the past, they used to get worried about that. Even though I would do it. I don't know what she was thinking. But when it came to my child, she got worried. And then, so I started teaching them the smallest things, that they need to start being independent, because I'm not always going to be there. You eventually will have to somehow, maybe you want to go abroad. So you would have to be independent. You would have to learn to do things on your own. So that's when I started becoming tough on them. And not just that. And for me, when I realized that my kids were becoming stronger in life, especially my 7-year-old. If you see my 7-year-old right now, she is extremely smart. And the way she talks, she gets things done. She knows how to clean. If she throws something, she knows how to pick up the wiper and clean that. So I'm very proud of who they're becoming right now. It's all because of the challenges that I have faced in life. And for me, I still had my dreams and I still had my passion. I still wanted to do what I wanted to do, and that is being in the fashion industry.
So let's move to that now. Let's
Yes.
move to that. Okay, so you've gone through all of this amazing journey as a mother, as a independent, as a woman, and now you are establishing yourself or re-establishing yourself. I'm just going through my notes just to make sure I get it right.
Yeah.
You represented yourself at the beginning of this podcast as the first Emirati woman to be a top 10 finalist in the Miss Universe UAE pageant. And then obviously you've gone through your marriage, etc., etc. Your kids are a bit grown up, and now you're also more grown up as well as an individual.
Yes.
You've matured, you've learned, and now you're ready to attach yourself to your passion.
Get reborn.
Get reborn, as they say. How, what, where, when, why?
Well,
We know the why. Let's do the others.
Well, for me, honestly, I thought I had given up on my life. I always knew I was strong.
How old were you at this stage?
When I started the beauty pageant?
When you were reborn?
Oh, when I was reborn. I think it was when I started becoming an influencer. I was around 34 at that time.
Post-COVID?
33, yes. 30, yes, post-COVID. I was 33 at that time. 32, 33. And I started becoming an influencer. I tried to get myself out there by being an influencer and a blogger.
And a blogger?
And a blogger.
Fashion?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's how I started. And when I started doing that at first, it seemed to me that, it's me and I'm enjoying this. And I told myself, at first I took it as fun, I didn't really think that by being an influencer, you could have a hectic life as well over there. But because I always loved that and that was always my dream. So I started off being that. Until last year, I got an opportunity and they suggested me to go for Miss Universe. And for me, it was something, and this is Miss Universe World.
Who's
and
they?
It was the friends around me.
Oh, okay.
So it was basically my closest friend and a few people who were around me. They had told me about this. And they told me, why don't you participate as one of the contestants? And for me, it was like, at that time, I was like, I'm in my late 30s and the beauty pageant, they're looking for like girls who are like in their 20s. It's not going to work for me.
This tall.
Yeah, and they have to be tall and you have to be revealing. Because for me, at the end of the day, my culture and my values are very important to me. Yeah. The way I dress, I would never be able to reveal myself.
So I was going to come to this because obviously it's Miss Universe, when you say it, everyone knows it. Close my eyes. What do I think of? I can think of bikini.
Tall,
America,
bikini,
blondes and stuff that the boys used to be interested in when we were kids and it was on TV, not me.
The runway models.
The runway, yeah. So for it to be in this region,
Yeah.
first thing I came to the conclusion of is that, not the conclusion, I questioned myself when you told me about it. Mm-hmm. Where does the modesty and the culture and the appropriation fit in with this region? So you've just touched upon it without me asking you, so thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Shukran.
So basically, for me, my mentality was the same. I had the same mentality. So I was like, okay, runway models, tall, you have to be revealing, bikini. So I was like, okay, I can't do this. But they were like, no, just give it a try. And it's not the same. It's not in the 20s anymore. They've changed the rules. Now, even if you're in your 30s, you can participate. So I was like, okay. So I went for the fun of it to see, okay, will I be able to enter? So when I went in, I realized that, I remember very clearly, I went in, I had no confidence because I wasn't sure of the details. I wasn't sure what I was doing. I had no confidence. I had completely lost my confidence that day. And I was telling myself the whole time, what am I doing here? Why am I here? This is ridiculous.
Was this the first time it had happened in the region?
It was the first time it happened in the region for worldwide Miss Universe. We've had other beauty pageants.
I know.
Like locally, we've had them as well. And especially in year 2024, it actually went up a lot. Like before, beauty pageants used to be local ones. Or even if we had international, it wasn't like big as Miss Universe. But for the UAE, we've never had like Emiratis. But in 2024, you actually will see now like about a lot of Emiratis are entering the beauty pageants now.
Are there a lot of Emirati models?
Last year, you started seeing them. Look, we have like models, influencers. We've had them throughout the Instagram time. But in terms of entering a beauty pageant, no, we've barely had any.
We have Emirati female catwalk models, I'm assuming, on modest.
Not if I no, I'm not sure about that. I don't have that information, but I have never seen myself.
Just to be clear from what you said to you earlier in the conversation,
Yeah.
the restriction or the lack of visibility of seeing Emirati women's in that form of media is not imposed on them by any government or law. It's literally culturally based.
It's cultural based. It's not imposed by the government.
Okay.
The government, our government, actually is very supportive, especially in this time right now. They're extremely supportive with the decisions we make, but it's our culture. It's us who needs to appreciate what our values are. So being an Arab woman, you need to present yourself as an Arab woman.
In a certain way, yeah, obviously.
In a certain way, yes. So it doesn't mean that you have to be in a hijab. If you want to be in a hijab, it's your choice. If you don't want to be, it's your choice.
Yeah, hijab, niqab, everything.
Yes,
but yeah.
it's a matter of a personal choice of someone. But for culture-wise, yes, that was an issue when it came to my family. So they had this perspective that, you shouldn't be in front of the TV because it gives you a bad image. And this was in the past. But today, if you ask my mom will tell you, I'm so proud of my daughter. I'm so proud of her because my daughter, the choices that she made in life, that's where she is, who she is today. So my mom never judges me anymore and always tells me, I wish if we go back time, I would have allowed you to pursue your passion. And you would have made it long time ago before getting to where you are. But the thing about me, she knows that I never give up. No matter what my age is, no matter where I'm standing today, I never give up. And this is my message to all the women out there. No matter what comes across, never give up.
This is not just for Emirati women. This is
for
women.
all women. This is for all women. Never give up on your dreams.
So tell us about the part of your dream then where you've gone to this thing then and you've nervous must have been hitting you.
I was extremely nervous. I entered and I looked at everyone there and I had no confidence in myself.
Are you the type of person who everyone makes a mistake or stumbles a bit when they're nervous? Where would you rate yourself there? Are you still able to just get the job done in your opinion, even if you're nervous?
I still get the job done.
Yeah?
Yes.
You come across that way.
I still get the job done. So if you're for me, it's you learn from your mistakes. Okay. And even if you make the mistakes, just learn how to wrap it up. Try to cover it. But for me, when I entered, I literally thought that I wouldn't get through. I thought, okay, let's give it a try. But when I entered, I realized I was in.
So you went in, I'm assuming, like you're saying, not revealing, you went with some modest attire.
Yes.
And that was your choice what to wear, or were you guided or directed?
They did direct us on what similarities to wear for the beauty
Jimmy
pageant.
Choo? What was
No. They did give us like a mood board where we had to be dressed up the way we want. There were choices that we can make, but in that it was like a business suit, so for me it's fine. And then it was like an evening gown, so again it's your choice. You want however you want to wear that evening gown, long sleeve, you want to wear it short sleeve, it depends on you at the end of the day. So there was a mood board that was provided to us and we went accordingly with that mood board. But the thing is, for me, it was like when I entered, I was like, okay, this is not going to happen for me. And I thought, okay, I'm just entered and I'm just going to go back
Was that like
home.
a safety measure just to say that, khalas, let's just see what happens?
Yeah, let's see, inshallah khair, let's see how it goes. So I went in and I realized that I was actually chosen as one of the contestants for Miss Universe UAE 2024. And after discussing and everything, I saw that, okay, I have the contract, so I am part of the contestants.
So
and I was like, okay, that's where it hit me.
When the contract came then.
Yes. I was like.
Just tell me about, try and build a vision for me of what your emotions were, because to me, I'm trying to put myself in your shoes, not as a female, obviously, but just in the same situation. I can only imagine with the combination of having your mom's approval, which would have spurred you on to go and do it to do it fearlessly. Talk us through, you mentioned mood board. I'm asking, what was your mood at that point? Did you feel like finally some form of validation or?
For me at that moment,
yeah,
it felt that the doors were opening for not just my voice, but for other voices to be heard. Because for me, at that time, having a platform where I was able to open up the woman empowerment side of me, I knew that this was the right road that I was taking.
Okay.
And I wanted to actually show all other Emirati women that if I can do it, you can do it. And I wanted to break that kind of stereotypes.
So what happened after you were chosen and the contract came? Tell us what happened next.
So when that happened, I was extremely excited. And I knew, and I had a very good feeling that day that things will go accordingly. I still had the thought in my head that maybe I wouldn't win it because I, wasn't experienced enough to gain that, to go into the global stage. But I knew that somehow it was going to beneficial me in terms of my strength. And that's what happened in Miss Universe 2024. Not just did I win the top finalist, but I was also the gold winner, the first gold winner for Voice for Change, which this all goes back to women empowerment. And that is exactly what happened. And I was so excited that I was chosen for that because I realized that's where my strength is.
This is a beautiful story. This is turning into a lovely, lovely story, connecting all the dots. So another example, that's like another checkpoint where you should be feeling extremely validated in your efforts and like you've done the right things.
Yes.
But it's not just for Emirati women now, is it?
It's not just for Emirati women, but for me, my target was the Emirati side, was because we have so many
cultural stereotypes.
We have so many young girls in our generation right now who are so creative. They are so innovative. And because the mentality of being in a beauty pageant for them is still like what we assumed,
Haram.
earlier. Yes, it's haram, but it's not like that.
Yeah.
In beauty pageants today, if you want to not wear revealing, you can. There's no more bikini for that. You can actually wear a burkini where you cover yourself completely. Even if you're a person who wears your hijab, you can also wear your hijab on stage with Miss Universe 2024.
There's a lot of fashion brands doing that nowadays.
Yes, a lot of them are doing that. So that perception needs to change, which if they know that for them to enter the beauty pageants, and it's fine to be who you are, and that's what message I'm trying to send across, that whoever has that ambition to follow this path in their life, they should do it. They should come out if they think that it's right for them and it's inbounding with their culture. They should be doing that. Like for me, I already told my daughter, I'm like, listen, next step, I'm entering you into the beauty pageants. You're entering the beauty pageants, So again, it's her choice if she wants to do it or not.
Is she on it or?
No, she was thinking about
Which
it.
daughter is this? 1, 2, or 3? Okay.
I need her to finish off her education. I need her to be independent and then make her choices. At the end of the day, I always give them their own choices to make in life. It doesn't mean that, if I didn't do it in a young age, my kids have to do it. No, it's their choice at the end of the day. But I'm never going to stop them from their passion and their dreams. I'm going to always be there for them. And I'm always going to support them in doing what they think is their passion or is their dream. And I'm still continuing it. Miss Universe 2024 ended last year, and I'm still continuing it. I'm actually heading for my next journey, which is Mrs. Middle East 2025.
Mrs. Middle East. So the first one is UAE. Middle East must be expanded territory then.
It's actually I can't really get into much details with that right now.
But I'm just thinking Middle East just sounds a bit more broader.
Yes.
Okay.
But the competition is going to happen this year. And I can't really reveal much of that, but this is the next journey that I'm taking. So another way of platform for me.
Mrs. Middle East 2025. Yes. Mrs. Middle East 2025. Keep that one locked for sure. Okay, so I mean, fully respect the non-disclosure on stuff, which is a bit like NDA level. We never push for that on this podcast as much as people need. I don't want clickbait from my friends. You're going to continue. You are still an ambassador, I guess, or an advocate for Voice for Change.
Yes.
Amongst other people, I'm assuming.
So Voice for Change, I'm actually working with MSF as well, where we are supporting the Doctors Without Borders. I have done, because my collaboration with Miss Universe supported me to support MSF as well, the Doctors Without Borders. And there's a brand that we're working with as well. It's called Benolel. Along with them, I am one of the main Voice for Change Gold winners that is supporting
So just for people who wouldn't know,
emergency relief, basically.
MSF is emergency relief.
Yes.
Okay, so humanitarian element. So you got a nice another vertical coming there.
Yes.
And that's important to you, obviously,
it's
as well.
very important to me because that is actually something that's deep within my heart. Because being a mom, so I have that kind of emotion. So when I see that, I cannot tolerate. So that's why that is something that touches my heart, especially when it comes to the children. I cannot see it. Like if I'm going to talk about that, I'm going to start tearing up.
No.
So
we're seeing a lot in Palestine and all
Yes.
these other places at the moment, and we should all be doing something.
Yes.
And like I commend you for anything that you
Yes.
do in that. May Allah bless you and reward you with everything you
ya Rab.
deserve for your efforts.
Inshallah.
So you've obviously started with a focus on trying to empower Emirati women. As you've grown and evolved, you've probably come to realize that whatever you were doing is just also able to apply to just woman.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be associated or tied significantly. I know that the cultural side of it is very much region bound, but there's so many topics in women empowerment which are just like global. So what advice, or you've given some piece of advice already, not to stop chasing your dreams, but if someone who finds themselves, let's start with someone in the Middle East, from Islamic, Middle Eastern, Arab culture or heritage, we know what type of stereotypes are out there in the world. We know which ones are a bit extreme and which ones are still in existence, such as men can do this, women can't do that, or the socioeconomic barriers.
Yes.
What would you say to someone today in 2025, given the state of how the world works today, if they were struggling to just take that leap of faith to pursue a journey that maybe others deemed inappropriate?
Well,
sorry for the long-winded and
that was like a
very good English question. You should be saying, Omar, wow, that was a great...
extremely long message. We're going to go bits by pieces.
No. So look, just in summary, you got imagine I have a sister. I do have a sister. You don't need to imagine. But let's say I had one who was in this region and she was in her teens, and there's obviously some form of cultural element which maybe plays in the back of her mind that stops her from wanting to go and pursue. I've seen, and I've got friends like female Emirati video gamers who are there streaming online every day on the camera and winning awards and attending tournaments. But what about those who may want to be, models, either in music videos, so that their mama can see them on the TV one day?
Oh my God!
But they, how do you teach someone to? How do you empower a woman to be fearless in our culture? Because I share your culture, even though I'm South Asian. Our culture is rooted within our religion, for the most part. So,
I always have my traditions impounded. Okay, so embedding your tradition should, for me, this is my point of view, embedding your tradition should always be there. Like I said earlier, if my daughter would tell me today that, Mom, I want to enter the beauty pageant, let's say, and I want to be the first to, for example, do something that is not within the culture and out of the culture of the way that we think, right?
okay, yeah.
I would tell my daughter at that moment, if you think it's right, you do it. But in my point of view, I look at it 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you think that doing this, for example, it's like, from my point of view, maybe that's something that I wouldn't really approve, but I wouldn't straight up tell her no. I would tell her, if this is what you want to do, fine, go ahead. But if you think that 1, 2, 3, I give you these advices and you still think that this is right for you to do, I won't say anything. And that's when the perception of my daughter changes. And she says, yes, Mom, you're right. So it's basically the advices that as a parent you give to your child, or even as a woman today myself, I would always tell them that it's never too late to do what you want to do in life. But you need to look at it. How comfortable are you in doing that? If you think that it's the right thing for you to do in terms of your culture, then fine, do it. But if you think that you're not able to do it and you have this fear, I think you shouldn't. Because all of us women, we do have our own strength. And all of us women, we have something that we can always bring onto the table. It doesn't have to only be in beauty pageants. And alhamdulillah, today we have a lot of Emirati women. They're becoming an inspiration for a lot of people.
Yeah, they're pushing boundaries
a lot,
all the time.
A lot. We have progressed and we are out there. We are out there. It could be in the banking field. It could be in tech field. It could be in influencer, because we have a lot of Emirati women who are influencers.
The government
models.
has a lot of infrastructure to help not just Emirati women or Emiratis, but influencers. You've spoken about it a lot.
Because they're teaching something to the world.
They get golden visas now. They
No,
get golden visas. You don't need it though.
We don't have the
Help me
golden
become
visa.
an influencer. Inshallah, I get golden visa. You know?
We don't have the no. There's doesn't go that way with us.
So,
but we have a lot that are presenting themselves in a very strong way, and that is amazing to see that. To see that growth is just something that I love to see. But for me, it was like the thing that was less. It was the beauty pageants. We weren't there. As an Emiratis, we weren't there.
now you're there.
Now we're there.
Now you.
I am there.
Now
as
you are
the
one of them who are
missus.
there as Mrs. Yeah. So
As the missus.
you've mentioned obviously that you're now obviously a mother of 3.
Mm-hmm.
You're in your 30s, which is sometimes considered, well, okay, well, most of the entrants or participants are in their early 20s or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, your age isn't a barrier.
No, we do have now a lot of people who are around my age, but not in Emiratis, but other women. They are few who are in their 30s, who are all participating in the contestants right now.
Okay.
They started because the rule changed for Miss Universe specifically. It's changed, and many other pageants as well. They don't have that particular age anymore. So it's open for all, because in today's world, it's not all about the way you look, but it's what you're going to bring to the society. So they're trying to have those kind of women who have the ability to speak and to show, what they can achieve and help others achieve in their life. For example, for me, I had an inspiration. I was actually inspired by someone to go out there, and I had a person that I adored very much, and you would know her. I don't know if I could bring the name in.
Afterwards, you can. It won't go out. Sorry, guys.
But
It's too exclusive.
Yeah, I was inspired, and she was one of the reasons why I decided to pursue what I'm doing.
So we're focusing on the Emirati side of you at the moment, because that's what I think is like the most valuable learning for me, definitely. And if it's for me, I'm sure it's going to be for some of my viewers and listeners.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. So look,
Alhamdulillah.
the leaders over here, expats like me, think that they've been great. They've invited us in. They've welcomed us. They've looked after us. They've literally provided the business infrastructure. As Sheikh Mohammed, in his vision, as soon as you come to the airport, you see it. Everywhere you see it. They want UAE to be the business capital of the world. That's not just for Emiratis, that's for expats.
For everyone.
Yeah, so, but
This is for everyone.
granted, Emiratis get the privileges, that's fine. But are there any other cool things that you know of that Emiratis are just making some literal headway in? I know we've got, I forgot his name, the Emirati astronaut. He spent X amount of time in the space station. We've got Emiratis who are trying to lead in every aspect of sport, esports, fashion. I think they've already won in quite a lot of things. Like Dubai is always the best place for people to visit. Dubai is always UAE is the cleanest place on the planet. Apart from yourself and other Emiratis who are breaking boundaries, any other cool stories that you'd like to share that you know of, or?
Well, you said most of them. You highlighted most of the things in terms of the strong people that we have, or the innovative people that we have. And even like I said earlier, we are extremely creative because we learned it from our leader. Again, if I go back, we learned it from our father. And this is how I look at things. I always say, Alhamdulillah, that our country not just loves its people, but loves everyone. And they taught us the same, is to respect all kind of nationality, to respect all kind of culture. And this is how we have been raised here, is to love everyone just like how our leaders love everyone else. And Alhamdulillah, as you can see today, we have, like I said even earlier, we have a lot of young people who are so innovative and they're so creative and they're trying to present themselves as being just normal like everybody else and showing their visions that they could aim so much higher than this.
I was at Jumeirah Towers, Emirates Towers, sorry, and at the Innovation Hub.
Yeah.
And I go in there and I'm expecting to see a load of expats because it's all about tech and AI.
Yeah.
And I'm expecting to see my brothers and sisters from Pakistan and India, the techies.
Yes.
But I was so surprised that they were all with their kandora, with a full house of like local young Emirati talent driving forward, mashallah. So again, I can't help but think that this is thanks to the leaders of the UAE. Mm-hmm. And I'm just so happy to hear from someone who's actually born and bred here. From the root of the tree, yes. Hearing it that you also value the leaders in the same way because they've nurtured you to be independent, and I think that you also are thankful in the sense that you're able to provide for your children, yes. Based on the independence, which with the father's helping hand, yes. You've been able to achieve. It's such a nice story, Fatima, honestly.
For me, I lost my father last year, and Allah yarhamah. I lost my father last year, and it was the worst time of my life at that moment because I remember that 6 months just went really, really bad in my life. But like I said, even though I never only looked at my father as my father, but I also looked at our leaders as my father, and I know that even if I lost my father, I haven't lost our leader, father figure.
MashaAllah. Allah bless them all and Allah help them preserve the nation because it's just like, again, I'm very blessed and I've taken away my personal blessings from my family, from this nation. So I can only imagine how important and close it is to your heart. Okay, so you've given some really good messages and I'm hoping that, especially our female audience, I hope that you feel that you can either relate or resonate with Fatima's story. I hope that you truly can see that she's a living example of resilience, of fearlessness, and of a visionary, in her field. I better get an invite to this next pageant.
Inshallah, it's very soon. It's happening very soon.
Only to support you, yeah?
No, definitely.
I'll be there with my flag, with my banner.
Definitely,
Go
inshallah,
Fatima, yeah, we'll do this. But is there any other message that you would want to give to anyone who's listening?
For all my
that you haven't given already.
That I haven't given. Okay, so
you can give it again. Just so it drills it into everyone's minds. But is there anything that you'd like to advise anyone in order to just help them? Let's think about it this way. When you started, the way that the market was, the way that the business world was, is literally evolved 10, 15, 20 times to today, 2025.
Yeah.
Now competition is high.
Very high, yes.
Now innovation is high. Now funds are becoming more available for innovative people. You see all this Shark Tank and all this type of stuff for people who have good business ideas. The competition in becoming everyone wants to become an influencer. You said you did it. How do you penetrate the market?
I look at it the way, everybody who wants to become an influencer, it's not because of the fact that everybody wants to become, everyone is trying to show their strength.
Yeah.
Which is a very good thing. I don't take that as a negative part of people trying to do that because everybody has their own skills and they have their own strength and that's what they are trying to emphasize and show to the world, I think that's an amazing thing. And I think that they should be doing that more because that's how you will be able to identify. In the past, we didn't have all that social media. In the past, they used to identify our strength and weaknesses by putting it in a piece of paper or by experiences of life. But today, you can actually see the strength of a person by looking at them in social media. That what is their strength and what is their weaknesses? Are they overdoing it? Are they not overdoing it? So I think this is something that is extremely amazing, that what's happening is how they're trying to identify themselves and how they're trying to bring themselves out through that. So it's actually a very good thing. And I do even advise my kids to do the same, but I don't know why they're not into social media that much and trying to come out of it, but they will. It's time. It's everything by time. They just need to build their confidence. And I feel like sometimes people think that they don't have the confidence. No, everybody has their own confidence. Till date, I have sometimes issues where I feel like I don't have the confidence, but at least I try. I never give up. So I think this is my message to all, where just be yourself and do what you think is right and never allow anything to stop you. And especially women around my age, don't think that it's the end, because it's not. If you still have the passion of what you wanted to achieve in your life, do it. And
I'm just listening so attentively because it's like you're spurring me on, and I'm not a woman, so it applies to men as well. It applies to men as well. No, but Fatma, it's amazing to hear this story. It's been really eye-opening for me. Final question from me.
Thank you for having me here.
No, thank you for coming.
Honestly, thank you.
You
I
don't.
really appreciate
None of the
it.
people
I'm
who end up
glad
on.
that I was able to put something onto the table.
No, nobody who turns up to this table in this studio does it without the goodness, just the pure goodness of their heart. And for you to take time out of your busy schedule, clearly you're a busy woman.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming, and
There's
thank you for.
something in beauty pageants. They always tell you speak with your heart. This is something that made me actually learn not to be that nervous. I used to always be nervous, but it helped me. If you talk with your heart, you're able to bring out what you need to say.
It's the humility you have in your persona as well, which is quite warming. And for that, I thank you for coming. I think we've heard of what's next in terms of pageants, and your voice for change. Any other interesting projects or any other passions you're looking to pursue beyond those?
Well, I do have some things that I have actually a very creative thing that I want to do very soon, but I'm not going to announce it now. It's actually
So that's exclusive number 2 you have to give me, guys. When the camera stopped rolling, I'm going to get 2 exclusives.
That is something that I am looking. It's more of a branding, but it's something exclusive, something completely different. It's me who's going to be behind the curtains for that, but it's going to happen. I'm just waiting for
I'm just going to note down, I need a ticket for the pageant. I need a ticket for the behind the curtains project.
I'm extremely busy with the whole, contest happening at the moment.
Yeah.
But once I get the time and I'm able to focus on that, inshallah, maybe end of this year, I will say it.
I'd love to have you on here again to understand, because it'd be lovely to see what you managed to pull off beyond
something
this
very
conversation.
Creative.
So
and with the support with my kids, the support of my own children.
MashaAllah.
So inshallah.
Sounds like a cool project.
Yeah.
Inshallah, we'll get you back to hear the great things that you are doing, and hopefully we'll hear of more success stories from someone born in the Emirat. Fatima Bahman, you've been great. Thank you for keeping it locked with me. Guys, if you want to follow Fatima, I suggest and strongly recommend that you do, not a if. She's got some cool things coming, as you've clearly heard today. She's a very inspirational woman, starting off with, I guess, an Emirati tone to the narrative that she has, but it is definitely a global message. Every piece of advice she's given here today, I really urge each and every woman, in particular, just listen. And you'll listen carefully if you're not a woman, like myself, and you'll also take some learnings from it. It's been another great edition of Keep It Locked, guys. I'm really enjoying producing this show. I hope you guys are getting value and entertainment from the selection of episodes. Until next time, guys, this is myself, DJ Marz, signing out. Thank you. And don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe on your favorite platforms. The description. Just go look at the description. Thank you. So, guys, that's been another fantastic episode of the Keep It Locked podcast. I really am passionate about keeping this going. So please, please, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and follow on your favorite platform. Links in the description. Please do check them out. If you'd like to eventually be on the podcast with me one day, absolutely a possibility. Please reach out to us. The email is also in the description. Until then, guys, keep it locked.